All right, we'll get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Monique Willis. I'm the manager of the Visitor Services Network program at Destination BC. I'm calling you from our Vancouver office that's situated in downtown Vancouver, but actually on the shared territory of the Musqueam Indian Band, the Squamish First Nation, and the Tsleil-Waututh First Nation. Today, we're welcoming speakers from the BC Wildfire Service. As we know, and as we learned, wildfires can happen at any time, and it's an important topic to kind of keep in front of mind all year long. Therefore, we're so happy to have Kimberly Kelly from our Community Engagement Specialist and Jade Richardson from the BC Wildfire Service here with us today to equip our Visitor Services Network program counselors and our teams from across the province with key messages about wildfire prevention, instructions for safe use of campfire and outdoor stoves and so on, and that accurate source of information for visitors. As you only have a short time together, Kelly and Jade, I'm going to pass it on to you to take the lead on this session.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. As Monique said, my name is Kimberly Kelly. I'm the Community Engagement Specialist at the Coastal Fire Center. We're located at in Parksville on the traditional territory of the Comox, Sononas, and Qualicum First Nations, whose traditional knowledge and stewardship we share in our wildfire management mandate. I'll allow Jade to introduce herself as well, one of my colleagues and my partner in crime, and then we'll go back to our presentation today.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is Jade Richardson. I'm a communications specialist at the Coastal Fire Center, and Kimberly and I also function in what's called a fire information officer role during active wildfires. So kind of a multifaceted positions over here for both of us, and we're very happy to be joining you today.
Thanks, Jade. So as Jade mentioned, our community engagement section takes on 3 roles at the Coastal Fire Center, and most fire centers across the province take on similar roles. So we have the community engagement, which is in prevention and preparedness, and our communication section supports that. But we also have a role in response, and that is the Fire Information Office. So that is part of our Regional Wildfire Coordination Center that is stood up during wildfire season and for active wildfire. So we wanted to start by letting you know that the information that we're sharing today is provincial in scope. Coastal Fire Center being the most dense of all fire centers and incorporating much of the region, Vancouver Coast Mountains, some of the northern regions as well. We just wanted to share this information with you, knowing that we have visitors transiting all over the province. And so this session will be provincial in scope, but we are calling from the Coastal Fire Center today. So first, I wanted to tell you a little bit about BC Wildfire Service and where and how we operate. We have a headquarters in Victoria, a headquarters in Kamloops, and the province is divided up into 6 fire centers as shown on the image on this presentation. That's broken up into 33 fire zones, and we have 2 provincial depots in Chilliwack and Prince George. I want to get right into the material today that may support you in some questions that you might get in the Visitor Information Center. And this is the first one that I wanted to bring to your attention today. The reason being, this is a question that we get a lot in the Fire Information Office. And so it is, can I have a campfire? Whether you can have a campfire or not really depends on the jurisdiction that you are in. So each fire center, Coastal, Kamloops, Caribou, Southeast, Northwest, etc., Prince George. Our jurisdiction is for wildfire management that includes Crown land, reserve land, and BC parks outside of a local government's jurisdiction. So if you get the question of, can I have a campfire? Really, the first question that you want to ask back to the visitor is, where are you going, or where are you located? Where will you be camping? Where will you be visiting? Because in the jurisdiction of a local government, they will have local regulations or bylaws that will indicate whether there's open burning allowed, such as a campfire. So we're going to roll through, and I'm going to show you what Coastal Fire Center's jurisdiction is and what that looks like overlaid with maybe a local fire department or a local government's jurisdiction. So this is the Coastal Fire Center jurisdiction. As you can see, it's broken up into 6 zones. And this is the jurisdiction, again, that we are responsible for wildfire management on Crown land, reserve land, and BC parks. We are in 2 emergency management and climate readiness regions, that's Vancouver Island Coastal and the Southwest region. So what that looks like overlaid on a local government's jurisdictions is these areas that are in the darker orange. These are all the jurisdictions of a local fire department. So you can see here out the Fraser Valley and up the Fraser Canyon, right? All of the area that is not in that darker orange area, it would be in the Coastal Fire Center's jurisdiction. Similarly, if we look at the South Island and some of the Gulf Islands, you can see that many areas are covered by fire department jurisdiction. Outside of the municipal boundaries, it's Coastal Fire Center's jurisdiction. Similar with the Sea to Sky Highway. And people traveling up to, let's say, Whistler, Pemberton, or any of those areas, they may actually be inside a fire department's jurisdiction. So if you're getting questions about, can I have a campfire? It's really important that your visitor or you know where that person is going or where they are located so you can give them the right source of information. Just before I go ahead with that, are there any questions about jurisdiction? And again, the reason that I bring this forward right away is our immediate question back to someone if they're asking that if they can use open fire is, where are you going or where are you located? So I just want to make sure that this piece makes sense. And I can't see the chat, so.
Oh, if anyone has a question, you're welcome to pop it in the chat and we'll take a look at it from there.
Okay. Great. So I think we can move on here. Jade is going to take us through some of our wildfire information sources, and these are going to be really important for you to share, and not only to inform yourself, but also to inform visitors that are coming into your center. So over to you, Jade.
Great, thanks, Kimberly. So one of the best sources of information that we do have that people can access almost anywhere, so within cell service most often, but a really great tool is our interactive map and our mobile app. And so these applications that have been built specifically with wildfire information in mind can be accessed on your devices, your cell phone, Apple or Android, or can be accessed from a desktop computer. So the option to access them from both of those areas. Now, what these applications are they are a live version of the wildfire situation and what is actually going on in the province of British Columbia. So the map doesn't distinguish between a specific center. You don't have to know exactly what fire center you fall in when you're bringing up this application or this map. It will give you the entire province situation, and you can pull information pertaining to where you are from it. So what does that mean? What does it tell you? Now, when we look at this here, there's a lot of little red dots on it. This is a last year's fire situation. This is when they built this video and this PowerPoint, but essentially the application itself will show you the location of any active wildfire that's burning in British Columbia. And so they'll be marked by a number of different things. They'll show you the status of the fire. So is the fire considered to be out of control? Is the fire considered to be being held or under control? There's a number of different fire statuses that will be shown to you on there with different icons. They also have the ability to show you wildfires of note. So fires that have been designated with specific notations. So they're impacting a community very greatly. There could be evacuation alerts or orders assigned to it. So it will show you right on the map what you're looking at from an overview perspective. You can also see right now, looking at this map that comes up, that there are these kind of turning little red things. And so those are actually the fire perimeters that are shown on the map as well. So not only can you see the little dot signifying like where the fire is itself, but you can see the perimeter of it as well. And so to get the application, you can download it from the Apple Store, the Android store, or you can just go online and search BC Wildfire Map, and it will take you through a couple of prompts to get to the desktop version. So I'll go into a little bit of the specifics of the app and what we can do there. But I will say that when you're talking to people about the app, or if you're downloading it for yourself specifically, we've been really fortunate in the past year to have gone through a lot of testing and upgrades to this map. You may come across people or even yourselves who anecdotally will say that map it doesn't work for what I'm looking for. And we heard a lot of that feedback in the past several years to make this map a bit more functional for a user who's not as Wildfire familiar. So it's been through a number of changes. I would really encourage anyone who doesn't have it or who hasn't upgraded it yet to put it on your phone or on your desktop at work and take a look at some of the features that it has, a few of which I'll go through right now. So again, how to access mobile or desktop. And then yes, the Wildfire dashboard. So this is a new feature for the application itself. It gives a much more comprehensive overview of the situation at hand in the province, which is great when you're in the tourism industry, when you're talking to people coming from a number of different places, going a number of different places. They want to know an overall situation, I'm guessing, in a lot of cases. Maybe they're traveling through from one campground to another over the course of 2 weeks. So in this dashboard section, it gives you a really big picture perspective. It talks about the weather, upcoming weather, the weather that we've seen, the situation at hand. So how many fires are burning in the province? Right away, it will tell you right on that home screen. So you can kind of have an overview immediately. It also on the dashboard page will give you information about wildfires of note and evacuation orders and alerts. So just that initial overview so you know the big picture before diving into helping someone find something specific that they may be looking for. So in terms of specifics, here's the map. Again, it has some really great overlays. It has a new legend function that allows you to turn on a variety of layers that never existed in previous versions. And back to what Kimberly was saying, what's really important in this layering function is now you can actually turn on layering that show campfire prohibitions and other open fire prohibitions as well. So you can see an overview of where those prohibitions may be based on where you're traveling to. Now, again, we do have this jurisdictional kind of crosshair as well coming into it. So it will show a general overview of the area encompassed by a prohibition. However, within that, again, you do need to check with municipality, local government for specifics should the place that someone is recreating be within the boundaries of fire department or a local government. But that legend is really great. The other things that you can turn on there are fire danger ratings. So that's a rating that shows the danger across the region that you're looking at in terms of like the heat, the moisture, the volatility of fuel should they burn, and that a number of different specifications and indices come together to create a fire danger rating. So it can show you immediately looking at an area, am I in very low, low, medium, medium high, high, very high, and give you a good picture of what the fire danger rating may be in a particular area. So that's within that layering function, which is really great. It also provides incident information. So for specific incidents, you can click on the dot on a map. You can say, hey, I'm here and the fire is here. Let's find a little bit more about it because I know I'm traveling to this area, or I know I'm traveling through along the highways past this area. Let's find out a little bit more about this fire. What does this mean? So when you click on a specific fire, it will give you information such as a fire name, a fire number, discovery date, the last time it was updated, cause, current size, and then additional information in the full details section where you can go in and see information that's updated daily that explains resources actioning a fire, whether there are any evacuation orders or alerts, or other specific information that might be important to note, such as aircraft working in the area and things like that. So you can see a number of different details right from within the application itself. Again, yeah, you can expand these details as this little video is going to show. Click on full details and it will give a number of different things that I've said, whether it's a wildfire of note, evacuation orders and alerts will always be at the top. And again, stage of control. So is it out of control, under control, being held? Now, one of the really great functions in the application and on the desktop, this can be done either place, on the desktop as long as you're not caching your cookies every single day, it will save this information. But you can put in saved information up to 5 different locations where you can input that. So let's say you have your home, you have a place that you're traveling, you have your parents' home that's halfway across the province, and you're wondering what's going on with them because you're trying to take care of them and be informed about what's going on in their world as well. You can input these locations into the application, choose a radius, and if a new wildfire starts or a current wildfire is upgraded to a wildfire of note, or there's evacuation orders or alerts that fall within a specific radius that you've input, it will send a push notification through to your phone to let you know. So similar to what many people see in their municipalities, you may have heard of the Voyant app, which is something that you can sign up for often with your regional district or your municipality, where it will send information through. It's not exactly the same because it doesn't come through automatically. You do have to input these saved locations to have that happen, but it's a really great feature that you can use, and you can input up to 5. So a lot of people input, again, the place that they're going camping, the place that they live, and other people who they want to be aware of their situation and their wildfire risk as well. And additionally, within the application, there's now a report of wildfire function. So traditionally, it was always through phone, telephone, or cell phone when you're traveling. There's now the ability to report a fire or something you think may be a fire through the application itself. And what's really great about this function is when you're doing that report, you can actually input a photo of what you're seeing. So there's the ability through the process of inputting a report and text and adding text and information, on your phone through the application, you can actually upload a photo of what you're seeing, which is incredibly helpful for our dispatch centers, for the officers making decisions about resources going where. It allows us to see what you're seeing and apply, all the operational knowledge we have to what's being seen. So a really great function. Additionally, if you're out past cell service and you have the application on your phone, you can input that information into the Report a Fire application. And when you come back into service, it will just send it through for you, which is nice. And it will timestamp the initial time that you actually input it. So we have an idea of what time it came from, and also the fact that you can do it live and not have to remember those details later when you return to cell service. And then finally, there in the More menu, there are a number of different things. So it connects to our YouTube, which has some really interesting videos about wildfire response, about current conditions, and other information such as our social media and our public-facing resource web pages that have more detailed information than just included in the app about a number of different topics pertaining to wildfire response. So that, in a nutshell, is the app. And again, accessible on your computer, desktop, and your phone should you download it.
Thanks, Jade. I just want to echo what Jade had said off the top, that this application, whether you use it as the dashboard online or you use it on your phone, is the best source of real-time information. I'll next share some other sources of information that are available, some more passive forms of communication and some contact, but this application really, if you are interested in being up to date on the current wildfire situation, if you are getting questions in your visitor information center, this is the tool. It's the tool for you, and it's the tool that I would encourage any of your visitors to download if they are interested, curious, or concerned about the wildfire situation in any part of the province, because as Jade has shown you, it is all of the information in real time that we have. Any questions about the app before we maybe continue into some of the other status updates that are available?
I do see a question in here. Does the application include road and/or highway closures? That is not something that is direct pulled necessarily. That is information that is owned by Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure, so MOTI. Where their information will happen live is on the Drive BC website. However, depending on the incident and the availability of resources to be helping support uploading additional information into our application. That will sometimes come through in a text function, should it be a well-known road that road closures will be happening. So generally what will happen, for example, last summer, many of you may have heard of the Cameron Bluffs wildfire that closed Highway 4 on Vancouver Island for a little bit of time, or quite some time actually. That information was in the application, and it was put through as highway closures are in effect. All the information can be found at Drive BC with a direct link through. So it doesn't pull directly from their map just because the applications at this point do not talk. However, we do our best to update that manually when we know that there are road closures and direct folks to the appropriate source for that information, which is Drive BC.
And I just want to echo that about evacuation orders and alerts. Evacuation orders and alerts are the responsibility of the local government via the Emergency Management and Climate Readiness Ministry. So if there are questions about jurisdiction or who holds what information and when, I did put a slide at the end of the presentation, and we can review it, just clarifying that BC Wildfire Services mandate is wildfire management on Crown land, IR land, and BC parks. So that's sort of our jurisdiction and our lane. And again, like air quality, Ministry of the Environment, right? Roads is the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure, evacuation orders and alerts with emergency management and climate readiness. And BC Wildfire Service does endeavor to share this information via the application and the dashboard. But the best source of information is, again, to go to the ministries or the local government agencies that are responsible for that area. Any other questions? So just looking at this one in the chat, if there are no bans in place, no information will show. So it's kind of just, if it's there, similar to if we call a fire out, it will disappear from the app, because the current wildfire situation is that there is no more information to share. So it doesn't necessarily show something that is not present or not current. I guess in a current active state, if that makes sense. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, I like this note taker. Never seen that before. I wanted to just go on to some other more passive forms of communication that you can have access to. Each fire center does a weekly status update based on the fire load. So for example, the Coastal Fire Center has started their weekly status update. Other fire centers such as Northwest may not have started theirs yet, but this is a weekly update that can be delivered right to your email inbox. I will ask Jade to put the contacts in there. If you wanted to be added to your fire center's weekly status update, or any fire center's weekly status update, I'll share the fire information office contacts with you. You can just email them directly to the geographic that you'd like to be included, and they will add you to the subscription list. So the weekly status updates share things such as fire prohibitions and restrictions, our fire danger rating, and the weather forecast. Similar to things that you would find on the application in real time, this is just, there are some parties that a weekly push into their inbox is better suited to them, and it's sort of a repeat of the information that's on the app. It's just a different modality to share information. So we will have the Fire Center Information Officer contacts listed into the chat, and you can reach out to your fire center if you'd like to be added to this weekly status update. So as I just mentioned, I'll just show you on the next screen that each fire center has an information office that you can contact at any time if you would like information above and beyond what is on the application. To be frank, there's not much more information that we have generally to share with the public or to share with even our stakeholders and partners beyond what is on the application, because it's pulled through in real time. But often there are people who struggle with technology, who are out of self-service at a time, or who may just need the information communicated in a different way. So these are the information officer contacts that are available to you. We'll pop them into the chat as well, and these would be the contacts you would reach out to if you would like to get that weekly status update. So we wanted to just move on Oh my gosh, it's 10:25. So, and just talk about maybe some key messages that might be useful to share from you staffing the visitor information centers. And these really are the 5 that we think are the most important. Download the app, detect and report wildfires, follow the guidelines for safe use of open campfire, and that's also found with the information that's in the app under more. Abide by all open fire prohibitions, which can be found via a layer that is on the application. You can just click on that layer and it will show you. And use an outdoor stove during campfire prohibitions. The open fire prohibitions, the guidelines, and the outdoor stove regulations are all found on the website, bcwildfire.ca. And we also have a series of print materials that can be found in our prevention section that can help educate people on what is safe use of a campfire and what an outdoor stove is. So these are really the messages that we're hoping to push out and share with you, to share again with visitors in the province, to help reduce human-caused wildfire, and just really to have a safer and happier summer. We do feel that, you know, there is a safe way to recreate no matter what this summer holds ahead of us. And we just feel through this prevention key messaging that we can really push that information out further through you, and we really appreciate your support. So I think, yeah, we'll open it up to questions now to see if there's anyone who has any questions about the application, about where to find information, or anything that we have missed that's on your mind.
And I'm just presenting right now, but when I turn this off, I'll pop a couple different things into the chat, and I'll also follow them up in an email to Monique so she can share them with the group at large, a number of these different methods that we've talked about, different links, and different email addresses as well. But yes, very happy to answer any questions you might have in the chat. And if not, you can see some of that information in the follow-up.
Okay, it doesn't look like anything's coming in through the chat. So we are pressing up against 10:30. Jade and Kimberly, thank you so much again for taking the time, providing your expertise, all these wonderful resources to ensure that our visitor servicing teams across the province are well equipped to support your work, your important work, and you're there to support their important work as well. And it's really great they were able to bring these two groups together to share and ask questions. So thank you for dedicating this time. This recording will be sent along with the resources, Jade, that you mentioned. And if there are any other emergency management questions you might have, feel free to send that over to me directly, and I'll make sure that you have that information as well. So with that, thank you so much, Jade and Kimberly. Have a wonderful day. Hope everyone else here has a wonderful day, and we'll see each other soon. Take care and stay safe.